everybody. Welcome
Hi.
back to Hearing Things with Julie and Brad. That's us. I'm Julie. I'm Brad. She's
Yeah,
Julie.
other way. We're talking about the thing that plagues us multiple times a day, every day of our life, listening fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
As you can tell by the way we started the show.
Yeah.
That's literally what our bodies look and feel like, and we can't always outwardly show that we're having listening fatigue. So if I'm halfway through my school day having taught 3 classes, I teach 4 classes, then lunch, by the time lunch hits, I'm tired. I mean, my eyes have been going constantly, my ears are working as best as they can, my brain is on overdrive, managing the kids, but also looking at their faces and facial expressions and body language and just trying to keep that going. That is a lot of energy drain on us, because we can never just sit back and passively listen. Every moment of interaction is active and energy is being expended at a very rapid rate. I know for me, by the time I get home from school, 3, 4 o'clock, almost every day I need a nap. Even if it's just 15, 20 minutes, I have to crash and just reset so I can get through the second half of the night. What about you?
Always. So it's really challenging. Anytime. This is why I only have like one desk shift, so that's the circulation desk. Well, circulation and reference at my library is the same desk. There's 2 of us that sit there, and it's my day when I work the desk in the morning, Thursdays. So if you ever see me on a Thursday afternoon, I'm a mess because I spend the entire day listening. And I think what's misunderstood isn't that we're always actively listening, yes, but that doesn't mean anyone has to be talking to us or anything has to be happening. Because when I'm at the desk, I'm constantly straining to see if someone needs help with the computers, or if somebody's walking in, or if somebody needs to be talking to me, I need to be able to answer when they call my name. And I don't know about you, but my name is like hardwired into my brain, and I have no problem hearing my name, provided it's at a certain volume. Like, I couldn't understand anything else they said, but as long as they say my name first, it's kind of like, it's my wake word. So if you have an Alexa or whatever, I might have actually turned one on. If somebody says Brad, I will, my attention goes that way, but that's because I'm actively listening to the world around me, and so it's constant. And so I do have an office, so I can retreat to my office when I'm not on the desk. But sometimes I'm called out and I have to actively listen constantly. And the resets is like an introvert having to reset all the time. That takes an extra toll as well. But it's constant, and it's that's why we read so much. Is because reading is not. We don't need to actively listen. I'll take my hearing aids sometimes out, but my tinnitus gets worse if I have my hearing aids out. But like, reading is godsend. It's an escape in more ways than one. It really is. So it's definitely challenging. I don't know how you do it with the kids though. That's almost be overwhelming, because I can't work in the children's room upstairs because my brain can't filter out the background noise. So if I'm up there and a kid comes up to the desk, number one, I have a lot of problems with kids' voices. Their range just doesn't work with me.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't like hear what they're saying because there's always so much going on. So I can imagine how much you have to go through.
The kids are my job. They're my focus. They're the reason I'm actively listening, and why all energy is being poured into them when they're in front of me, because that is my role after school.
Yeah.
I think it would be different if I was, working with one group, and then I had to go to recess duty, and then I had a meeting, and then I had to, come back and observe adults, and then observe a class. Like, I think if that was always mixed in all the time every day, it would be harder. But because I'm with kids the bulk of my day, and it's the same kids, I know their voices, I know the prosody, I know the predictability, I can tell just by looking at them if somebody, is going to try and pull a fast one. That makes a difference, because it's almost like a conditioning.
Yeah.
But if I was trying to do multiple parts of a job like you are, when you have that almost unpredictability at your job, mine's pretty predictable and consistent. I know what I'm doing when. I think it would be a little bit different for me. Yeah,
that's one of the hardest parts of my job is acclimating myself to different patron voices fast enough. Is that some people's accents, some people's volume, some people's just speed in the way they talk. I have to gauge the interaction. I have to be actively listening for what they're saying and then adjust to them in order to be able to have that conversation. And so I can see how having the same set of kids would be a little easier. I mean, you're still active all the time, but it's challenging. And I think that a lot of people don't realize that we're always listening. and it takes a lot out of us. So that's why we always retreat to books.
And the other advantage I have too with the kids is they know me well, and we
good
work
point.
together on accommodations for Mrs. Lane.
That's great. You have a presentation at the beginning
And we,
of the year.
presentation. Then as the year goes on, I remind them or they remind each
good.
other.
Oh, nice.
You know, I've had a kid before say, "Hey, you gotta look at her." I'm like, "I got it. I can hear. Thank you, thank you."
That's
like they're
great.
hysterical, but they take the ownership too, and we all kind of work together to make sure that we're communicating efficiently.
That's great.
But the best is when a kid wants to tell me a secret.
Oh.
Mrs. Lane, I have to tell you something. I'm like, it's not gonna work, but I have to tell you something. I'm like, I know you do, but I can't hear you, so now's not a good time. Can we wait until everyone leaves the room and then you can tell me to say, "No, it's really important. I have to tell you something right now."
So I heard nothing but she said, and I'm
Right.
sitting right next to her.
Well, imagine little kids. Right?
No.
So what I'll usually say is, let's step out into the hallway for a private minute. Then you can tell me what you need to say. 9 times out of 10, it is something as earth-shattering as, "We're going to get a puppy."
Oh.
That's awesome.
That's sweet.
Or,
Not important, but
"I
sweet.
have to tell you, I'm going to go to the basketball game this Saturday." Okay. I say the same thing all the time. I'm like, I know this is really important to you right now, and I want to hear more about it, but right now we have a job to do. So we have to go back and do our work. And in my head, I'm like, "You interrupted my lunch break! I thought there was some kind of crisis child!" But no. That's what we do.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
They're fun.
That's great. Seems like it's a group effort. That's really encouraging.
It
to
is,
hear.
and I'm really excited that the kids, consistently over the years, the kids really do internalize what you need, and they will help you, and they will call each other out on it if they're not doing the accommodation that I need or that the group is agreed upon. They're amazing.
I would love to track down some of your old students and see if having you as a teacher made them more accommodating, not just to hearing loss, but other people as well. Because it seems like it's a...
I have some I can probably
I would
find.
ask them. I
bet
think
I
that
would
would be
have one or
that'd
two
be
that would want to
fascinating.
kind of help us out.
We had Catherine on a couple
My
of
niece,
weeks ago. Yeah, and so like we talked about that, like growing up with an aunt who had hearing loss. She's thinking about that, not even realizing she. And so I think having you as a teacher,
great idea.
I think might have a bunch of kids have like different outlooks for the world. I think it's fascinating. It'd be
Yeah,
good
something to explore for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Some of my old
Now,
buddies.
speaking of escapes, we like books. So books, Julie, what do you got? High five.
What do I have?
High five.
Oh, high five again. This is last week.
There we go.
Where am I mean, it needs no introduction, people. It is Cher, okay? The woman goes by one name. You don't even need to say any more than that. This is the memoir of Cher. Not only is it Cher's memoir that she wrote, part 1. That is how epic my girl Cher is. She's got a part 1 of my... I mean, just come on, right? I love her. I've loved her my whole life. I just think she is so fantastic. And for me, growing up, the model of the musician was always like the American blonde, petite, pretty thing, right? And I was different with my hearing aids. I'm Italian. I look different. I don't look like your ideal American look that people think of. She looked different. She was different. She had her own thing going on. I identified with her from when I was very young, and I adore her. So, I actually haven't read this yet.
Okay.
I'm saving it until the summer probably when I have a good chunk of time and I can really relax and enjoy it. I don't want to do this in piecemeal because Cher needs my absolute attention. I saw her in the first row, center, Boston Garden,
Oh,
in
wow.
2019.
Nice.
She came down from the sky.
From the heavens, Cher came.
I started crying. I couldn't handle myself. I mean, she is that remarkable and that important to me. It's just an icon.
She was very icon. It's true. How many people can go by their first name and you know who you're talking about? Cher, Madonna, Ichiro, Julie, of course.
And me.
Of course.
Iconic. So I will have to give a little review update after I do read it.
Yeah. Stay
But
tuned.
oh my god. I mean, look, you can't see it at home. But if you look up right here, I have on my wall in my office where we're recording a Moonstruck movie poster with Cher in it. I just love her so much.
I'm
That's what I have.
going to give you a moment to just sit with that
But I'm getting verklempt.
before I get back into my book. Right.
All pause for Cher.
Yes.
Take a moment in appreciation that we are lucky enough to be alive at the time of Cher. Okay.
We good? All right. So I'm going to go off a different tangent. I have a history of the world in 6 classes.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting. So it traces how different beverages shape the world. And so it starts with beer, right? Because when the Neolithic times, right, when we're still living in caves, water wasn't safe to drink. And so you had to ferment alcohol. You had to ferment the grains to get beer. And then it goes to...
I never thought of that.
Yeah, it goes to tea and then coffee, because you have the East India Company, right, with the British Empire. And then the last one, I think, is Coca-Cola. And so the whole Cola Wars and Pepsi going behind the Iron Curtain and all that kind of stuff. So it's a fun premise, and it's not to be taken too seriously, but there is seriousness to it, because a lot of the global economy really does now revolves around certain commodities. And what's more of a commodity than a drink? And so it traces six different drinks, and it was a fun book.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
When you first held it up, I didn't say it.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, God, is this like a Eat, Pray, Love for men? What is this? Very happy it's not.
No,
you know my opinion on that book.
You do.
There you go. All right.
Yeah, so that's it for this week. So yeah, let us know in the comments. I mean, I know that we don't have a monopoly on all the things that we talk about, whether you have a different way of being hard of hearing or if you have normal hearing. It has to get to you too. I can't imagine that having perfect hearing and being at like one of those, like a concert or something, you must feel tired. So if you have any like anecdotes about maybe feeling listening fatigue yourself, let us know.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, babe.